Alright, so got my wheelchair. It is 9:30. I've been in it for about a half an hour. It's not exactly fun. So apparently the doors to Hafner, the handicap button that opens them automatically doesn't work, so I had to ask some people to hold the doors for me, which was weird, but it's okay. It was kind of difficult, and doorways are smaller than expected. Wheelchairs are really wide, so I think that's something that could be improved on, is wider doorways, so that disabled people or handicapped people could easily get around in them. The brakes that are on the wheelchair really don't work very well. It's kind of disappointing. I was hoping I could use them like when going down hills or ramps and stuff to keep from going all over the place, I guess. And they really don't work very well. It makes it kind of feel like you're going to tip over in the wheelchair. So, kind of sucks. It would be nice if they worked.
Oh yeah, it's on.
It's recording.
This is Amelia
Hello.
attempting to get in this elevator.
I have no idea, dude. You can open these?
She's getting some assistance
Okay.
because she's handicapped, and this elevator's not made for handicaps. Now she's opening the gate,
These look scary.
and now she's getting in, and Kayla's getting in too.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
so,
God. Let me turn
oh,
around. Just let me turn
oh,
around.
she's,
Turn over my feet, I'll be sad. I'll be sad
oh,
too.
she's turning around.
Sort of. This is so sad. It's not my fault.
And now I'm getting in.
Okay. This one has to close first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, we have to close the gate first. Oh, wait.
No, you don't. You have to close this one first.
Okay, she's closing the thing.
Oh, wait, you're supposed to grab this.
Whoa, okay. Closed.
I die in here.
And then that's
Let's
closed.
go to the second floor.
And now we're going to the second floor. Is that shut all the way?
Oh, maybe you have to hold it the whole time.
Oh, and now we're going up.
Oh my god, this is scary. Sketch little elevator, isn't it?
And this is Amelia freaking out in this ghetto elevator.
So ghetto. Why does it feel like we're not moving? And just the doors are?
Oh. Oh, and now we're gonna open the gate. Amelia's gonna open this thing.
Maybe. No, I'm not.
But she can't, because handicaps can't open these doors.
Which I feel like defeats the purpose, just a little bit.
Yes, it does. And here's Amelia getting out. And then here's Amelia
A little bit of a running start.
going up this really intense hill. I'm gonna laugh if you start rolling backwards. Oh, she's losing momentum. You think you can. You think. Keep going, you're almost there.
If you start rolling backwards, I'll probably stop. There we go. Oh wait, I can do this.
Yay.
It's hard to deal with going really fast. Without getting back up, Will.
Yay. Yeah, but now you have to go back up.
That's fine. If I try to get in my door, but I won't be able to. Because I can't. Because these doors automatically slam shut, so they make it hard to get into. Okay. Stop it.
I'm Amelia Ferrier, and I'm almost done with my day in a wheelchair. It's been difficult, to say the least, a lot of work. I was expecting it to be this hard, for sure. It's really affected a lot of like things that I can do and like the amount of independence I have. So Hapner is the dorm that I live in, which I'm in right now, and the buttons that are supposed to automatically open the doors for people with wheelchairs don't work apparently, so that made it really difficult. I had to ask people to hold doors and stuff open for me. And I had class in Cheever earlier today, and its doors don't even have a button to press for that. So I had to have somebody hold the door open for me, which was nice. And people were really considerate and kind. I appreciate that. This is my bed behind me in Hapner, so obviously if I was actually handicapped and needed a wheelchair, I wouldn't be able to stay in that bed. And I also live on the first floor, which is kind of like a basement, and you need stairs to get down into it for Hapner, and so I had to use service elevators, which were impossible to use on my own. I had to have help from other people. That was also kind of difficult. Some things that I wasn't able to do on my own anymore were going to one of my classes in Cheever. The slant of the ground is very, very steep, and it made it really hard for me to go down it because my wheelchair would get going too fast, and it's really hard to slow them down once they get going. And then also coming back from that class was really hard because the incline was so steep, and I had to have somebody help push me because this is the first time that I've ever been in a wheelchair, so I haven't built up the right kind of muscles that somebody who was actually in a wheelchair would have built up. I mean, obviously not at first, but over time it would become easier, I feel like, and you become more used to it. So I feel like this is a fairly accurate representation of what it's like to be in a wheelchair for the very first time. But eventually, I mean, it would be very different, you know. My arm muscles would become stronger, and it would become easier to be a little bit more independent of people. And also, if I was actually handicapped, I wouldn't be living on this floor of Hapner. I would be living in a different floor, because this one isn't handicapped accessible, which is hard. With reactions to things, it's really weird not being able to be independent, which is what it would be like to be in a wheelchair, is not be completely independent and have to ask for a lot more help, and that's really weird for me, and it's really hard for me, and I had to, it was really difficult. And just the general getting around thing, you know, like my arms aren't strong enough to handle some of the hills on campus. Yeah. And then with other people's reactions, it was weird to be in a wheelchair and people would just look at me and give me like this look of like pity and stuff, and they don't actually know that this is an only one day thing. They didn't understand that I'm not like this. And there was this one girl who, when I was leaving a dining hall, was walking next to me, and she was just kind of making conversation, and she seemed really nice. And she asked if I was a mechanical engineer, and I said no, I was actually industrial, and she was like, oh, okay, and I told her, yeah, this is for a class, you know, I'm not actually in a wheelchair for any reason, and she was like, yeah, I assumed, because I didn't see anything wrong. And I thought that kind of weird, because being paralyzed isn't really something that you see. I don't know how she knew that I wasn't handicapped in any way. It was kind of odd. I was really surprised by what she said there. It was weird. I didn't know how to react. For intrinsic barriers, I would definitely say things like the shape of the land and stuff at MSU. It was really hard getting over some of the hills and stuff. And then also, their sidewalks were terrible. Like the ones where they're just more separate pieces of concrete were really hard to get over because all of the bumps and stuff would really jostle the wheels of my wheelchair and made it really hard. Other intrinsic things, I think, is just kind of the design of Hafner Hall. It's not very wheelchair friendly. Even for the floor that is wheelchair accessible, I wouldn't want to live here and be in a wheelchair. The biggest thing is our doors, they automatically shut themselves, like they slam themselves shut, and you physically cannot open them in a wheelchair because when you go to push to open them, you go backwards, which was really hard. So I had to ask somebody to open my door for me. As a conclusion, I feel like this was an eye-opening experience, and I feel like it definitely helped me realize just how hard it is to get around campus in a wheelchair and just to live your life. And I was kind of surprised by how often I needed other people's help. I didn't think that I was going to need that much, but I ended up needing a lot of help from a lot of different people, and that was hard. But I feel like it was overall a fairly decent experience. It definitely hindered my ability to do many things, just get around campus. And one of the biggest things that I think that I learned was that it's nice to have help from other people, but at the same time, sometimes it's like I wish I could do this on my own, but I know I need someone else's help right now. And that was really eye-opening, and I'm glad to have learned that. And when I went into Cobley earlier, I was going to use the elevator, and this really nice man standing next to it, there's a drinking fountain right next to the water fountain next to the elevator, and he was getting a drink, and he pressed the button for me, and he just smiled at me and told me to have a good day, and he was really nice, and I really appreciated that, because even though he probably thought that, like, this is my reality forever, even though it's not, I really appreciated it, it was kind of like a nice little day brightener, and it was really nice of him.